Hey guys, this is Tim again. If you saw my first video in this series, you've already seen my Leatherman EDC pouch that rides in my bag and everything that is in here that complements my Leatherman. Now let's go ahead and take a look at a couple of these other bags. I've spent a lot of time putting these together. You'll see one is a lot smaller. This is the EDC, what do they call this? The Vanquest Maximizer. I think it's the Slim, but it's one of the larger ones, just not as thick as some of the other ones. And then I also have the Maxpedition, I think they call this the fatty pouch. You can see it's very large. Got a lot of stuff stuffed in here, and we'll check that out. This Vanquest bag rides along with this one in my everyday carry bag, my Vanquest. And originally this was more of an EDC toolkit. Stuff's already falling out. And so I had just a lot of tools to complement just carrying a Leatherman in my pocket or on my belt every day. But what I've done is transition this more to like a knife maintenance kit, which I think works out well for me to carry. I just have a few other odds and ends in here. But it starts off with this Everyday Carry Series Work sharpener. It has the diamond file and a serrated or a ceramic rod on here for your serrated blades. Nice and light. I have a larger version of this actually in this large kit here that you'll see in another video. Then I also have the little bit case from that 711L ratchet driver that I showed you in the last video. Just have the bits in here. They're all security Torx, so they work for most knives and Leathermans. And then I also have this 1/4 inch Makita driver in here. I'll show you what that goes to. You probably saw this fall out at the beginning of the video, but this is pretty neat. I don't think they make these anymore, but they sold them in Home Depot. This converts your 1/4 inch sockets into nut drivers, so I have a full set, 1/4 inch all the way to 3/8 of magnetic nut drivers. It's pretty handy. It comes in a small compact package. I don't carry the Malco bits with me every day. They just stay either on one of my impact drivers or in one of my bags. So this kit, along with a small bit ratchet, I just have this little Craftsman that came in another kit I've been using for a while, and it comes in really handy. It's very similar head design to that 711 version that I have for the Leatherman. I may keep this in here. I may just decide that I'd rather use that all the time. But then I also have a full set of the flat Leatherman bits, basically every bit that they make, as well as I picked this up a long time ago on clearance. This is the Leatherman Croc. It's a pry tool, scraper, wrench, combination wrench or whatever, a little bottle opener and bit driver. Just pretty neat, very slim, and it fits perfectly in one of these pockets. And then I also have in here the Klein. I forget what number this is. Oh yeah, here it is. Sorry. The 32614. This originally would have had micro Phillips and flat bits in it, but I've switched those out from another Klein pocket driver that wasn't as nice to carry, with all security Torx bits in this as well. It's probably not necessary now that I have this little kit. I may end up transitioning this over to another one, but I just love the form factor of this. It has a pocket clip. It's convertible like this, and you can even slide that down so it won't poke a hole in your pocket or whatever bag you're keeping it in. Just fits nice in a shirt pocket. Might just keep it in here since I still have the room. And then I recently got one of these Tough Glide pins. They work nice for lubing up the pivots on your knives, your multi-tools, and just general maintenance. So it's just nice to have that in a spot where I know where it is. And it just rounds out this little kit. I have some other odds and ends. I still have some first aid items that I was keeping in the back of this. I might take those out. But I just keep this in my bag every day. I have a small notebook and pencil in the front just because it fits in there. But what I really wanted to show you guys was this large Maxpedition kit. So let's transfer everything over. Alright, let's take you inside of this big fat pouch here. You can see I just kind of made my own label on here with those Vanquest. I don't know if you've seen them. They're just a Velcro identification system that they came up with. It's color coordinated. I just stole one that was gray. This is my precision toolkit. I've really whittled everything down in here, but just on the front I have a waterproof notepad, and I have one of these Pentel, I think that's what they're called, yeah, Pentel mechanical pencils, super nice. I was actually turned on to these by Morgan's Maintenance, one of my favorite new channels I've been really following. He shows a lot of really handy tools for people in the trades. He's a maintenance person, of course, but yeah, I really enjoy his channel. And he inspired some of the picks that I put in here that you'll see. Let's go ahead and open this thing up. I don't have anything else that rides on the outside, and this thing is pretty well packed. I haven't weighed it, but I haven't been really concerned with weight, just as long as everything fits in here. This is more of a grab and go when I know I need to go help somebody work on either electronics or something small, and this really complements what I would have on in my bag or on my person anyway. Let's go ahead and open this up. You've probably seen a lot of other similar kits to this on YouTube. You probably even in the same pouch. I actually came up with this idea years ago, and just knowing that the Toolcheck Plus fit in here so well and it's the perfect size pouch, I just built it from there, and I've just slowly added different stuff, and I've gotten inspiration from some of those other videos. They're really handy. They have a lot of good ideas, a lot of good tools. But this is what I've come up with. Before, I just kept a lot of my Knipex and Vera tools in here, and they were more full-size tools that you would probably keep in a tool bag or an actual tool pouch, or belt pouch, excuse me. But I've decided that because this is such a compact little kit, and I can only fit basically 6 to 7 inch long tools in here, this is perfect for all of my precision tools. And I've added some since. So let's just show you what we have. The foundation of this kit is the Vera Toolcheck Plus, if you're familiar with it. It has a 1/4 inch bit ratchet, very nice design, rides on the side, wrap adapter. Here's that little magnetic green handle. This is the metric version. It has 1/4 inch sockets and a nice assortment of bits here. And this even has security Torx in here, which is the reason I've decided not to put some other things in here. But this is going to cover a lot of bases for you. And then I complement that with the large, let's see what number this is, Vera ratcheting handle with the wrap adapter. This is the 816RA. Super nice quality. That wrap adapter just automatically locks your bits in there. Nice action, very smooth and comfortable. This is a full-size handle. I'm using this with, they now have a smaller version. It's probably not quite as heavy duty, but I feel like it would be a better fit for this bag. Still, you know, a nice size, comfortable handle, and it's just more compact. And it seems like it has an even nicer ratcheting mechanism. I'd really like to try it. But you know, this fits in here. I actually have one of these guitar tuning peg tools. I usually use this in my drill, but you could even use it in a ratchet driver like this. I also have a 6-inch bit holder to go with this to really make it a full-size screwdriver with long reach. This is actually a Bosch. I've always liked their stuff. I have a lot of their power tools, and I think it complements this nice. Let's check out this other side, and then we'll come back to this compartment. I have a different assortment of tools in here. Originally I had the 7-inch, or I think they call them the 180, or maybe it's the 200 series of Knipex, pliers wrench, and Cobra. But what I've done, I've had these crescent little micro cutters and needle nose pliers for a while, and they served me well. I ended up putting these in here just because I like having the nice compact tools. These are really tiny. needle nose pliers. They work out really well for electronics, and these are some nice flush cutters, which I didn't have in here before. And you know, the form factor might not be quite the same, but you can fit them in there fine. And I also threw one of these Vera. I have the full set of the Joker adjustable wrenches in here, and I just threw the smallest one. It goes from 7mm to 10mm, or 1/4 inch to 3/8 in here. I love using these things, and this one was just so small I figured why not. I also had the 10 to 13, but I took that out for now as I keep fine-tuning it. But you know, if you don't have any other wrench, this is really nice to use. You can do it for a lot. And then you may have noticed I have another Leatherman in this kit. I decided to put my Leatherman Skeletal, which has been in my pocket for years, in this kit. I've transitioned to using a different tool that actually doesn't have pliers. I keep it in my pocket every day. And then when I need pliers, I go to the Leatherman Charge. And then I have several others I keep in my truck and different kits. The reason I put this Leatherman Skeletal in here is years ago I modified a Leatherman saw and file kit for the Surge to work with my Leatherman Skeletal. I modified these T-shank like jigsaw style blades to fit in the bit holder of my Skeletal, which gives it a nice comfortable handle. You still have good reach, much lighter than the Surge. So I have that wood saw. You know, I've always loved Leatherman's wood saws. I have the diamond file, you know, 3-sided file in here. And then just today, I grabbed some other jigsaw blades. Just some Bosch bimetal jigsaw blades, and I modified those the same way. Now I basically have a little mini hacksaw. Comfortable to use, good for just precise things, small things. I had wondered if I should try to fit a folding hacksaw in here somehow, but there's not too many good solutions on Amazon, and I figured this would work really well for the small nature of the tools in here. So I'm excited to really try this out and see how well it works. I feel like it'll be pretty good, especially once you lock the handle down in here. It locks in there pretty well. And I've always liked these Bosch blades, made in Switzerland. And another reason I put the Skeletal in there is I was just playing around with, should I have some larger pliers compared to these little needle nose pliers. And these aren't very heavy duty, but they do give you some nice needle nose pliers, some combination pliers and cutters. So if you want to cut some hardwire, which you can't do with these, you can take care of it with this. It's got a bottle opener, has the combo blade, and some bits. And so it just fits nicely in here. It keeps the weight down and gives you a lot of functionality. I feel like that's worked out pretty well for me. And then on this side I have a good precision driver. This is the little Cobalt ratcheting, but it's like a quiet drive ratchet. And you can also, it has the gear reduction, so I think it's 1 to 2 gear reduction or 2 to 1 gear reduction, which is nice for starting small fasteners. It has all the bits back here in the handle. This has worked really well. I always use this thing when I'm working on electronics. But I have another solution that works with this that I forgot to mention. With a little rapid after handle, I have a, I think it's a Weha. This is a 1/4 inch driver to 4mm, I think it's 4mm, bit adapter, a magnetic. It actually holds even this long extension bit very well. What this allows you to do is you can use your larger handles, even this big ratcheting handle, or a drill driver or a little driver to run down your little precision screws. I feel like this is a good solution. Gives you a lot of capability. You know, I have a dedicated screwdriver and another solution, and that complements all these bits here in the Toolcheck Plus. And then over on this side, I just have an assortment of long, skinny flat bits from Viha. I really enjoy their stuff, and it just made sense to keep these in this pouch. Sometimes you need to be able to get down into something and just have a 3-inch Milwaukee shockwave bit to work with that ratcheting driver or whatever else. And then in the pouch back here, I have a good bit. You may have noticed this is the older style compact fastback from Milwaukee. Not a lot of functionality, just a good small utility knife. And then hanging on the 2 key loops, I have, turn around here, the Leatherman Squirt ES4. This was the very first micro tool that I ever bought from Leatherman. It has outside implements, but also when you open it up, I think this one's discontinued. This is their small electronics wire stripper version. These strippers are really nice. They go from 20 gauge all the way up to 12 gauge, so it works out nice for small projects. It has some little grippers at the end, little wire cutters, nice little pliers. I have this in here too because it has a small set of scissors that complements this really well, and it has all the little drivers, but I don't use this as much in my EDC bag as I used to, and I feel like it works a lot better in this kit. It gives you a lot of capability. And then on this other key ring, I have this all metal Olfa craft knife. It's for another precision blade. It's a double-sided, so when this one gets dull, you flip it around. I've had this for a long time. And they have some other newer, more modern style craft knives, and I have some of their other snap-off blade knives, but this works really well in here. Kind of fits with the theme. I have some other stuff shoved back in here. I just got these cheap insulated stainless steel tweezers off Amazon. They have 3 different styles, 2 fine point and 1 blunt point. Tweezers are really handy to have when you're working on electronics. Probably don't have to tell you guys. And none of my Leathermans have very good tweezers for that kind of stuff. They're only good for pulling out splinters. So I just got a cheap set off Amazon just to see if I like using them. If I do, I may upgrade to the Knipex eventually. They're basically the same thing. What else do I have back here? Oh, one more thing. I have a little 6-inch stainless ruler. I love these flexible ones. I have the full size out in my shop, but this just fits perfectly in here. It gives you a nice straight edge, and obviously it has metric and standard readings on here, so it's nice for measuring stuff. One thing I've thought about is maybe keeping a small set of calipers in here too. That might be handy. You can get some little cheap sets on Amazon just for checking the size of fasteners or the thicknesses of different things. Might be handy. I have that stuff back there. And over here with the bit check, I just have a small flashlight. This is made by ThruNite. It is actually their WowTac brand. But it's just a nice little bright rechargeable light. Has the two-way pocket clip so you can stick it on your hat, and it's magnetic. Really handy to have in this bag. Some of my other tool bags and different kits have actual headlamps in them, but I feel like this serves the purpose really well. Lay this down. There's another compartment back here behind this horizontal webbing, and in here I have a few items. This is just a little kit that I put together for working on electronics. I have some small zip ties. I have some different sizes of small solder connectors. You know, I've started using these recently. They self-seal. They already have the heat shrink on them. I have some small heat shrink tubing and a small butane lighter, which you can make that work with most things, you know, besides having a heat gun. This works out pretty well if you're careful. And then I also have some little pin connectors on here. I just felt like this was handy to have in here. I actually have, this is a 6-inch quarter extension from Vera. It has a locking holder on the end. Very nice. I intend on getting more of their 1/4 inch ratchet accessories like the Cyclop, and maybe some more of their bits. But I just have this in here. I feel like it complements that kit so well. I may end up putting it in something else. But I also have one trick is if you buy the metric or the Imperial Toolcheck Plus, you can also buy just a rail of their 1/4 inch sockets for relatively cheap to complement that. So I have metric and I have standard. It goes from 3/16 all the way up to 1/2 inch, and so I keep that in the back. I actually stuck these in here from, they used to be in this kit. This is my survival kit. This is just an Irwin vice grip, just a small size. I figured even if I might not need that gripping power, this is nice to hold things together while I'm working on them. Basically serves as a clamp. Not only does it the end of it, but you can also cut hardwire with it. And like I said, it replaces having a small clamp in here. I mean, I don't think they even make a 6-inch Irwin clamp that would fit in here. So I feel like that works out good. We'll see if it stays. And then lastly, I just have this Cobalt little pocket pry bar. I actually cut the one end off and rounded it over and kind of made it more of an EDC tool. It's nice for prying and pulling nails. I may upgrade to something else in the future, but this works out. It's nice and slim, and it really finishes out this bag. So let me know in the comments if you guys have other suggestions, some things I should take out or things I should add. These are all things that I use pretty often when I'm working on small projects, and they work out good for me. But you've probably been wondering what is in this larger Vanquest pouch. Let me know if you want me to make a full video on this. This is my survival toolkit. It's not necessarily a survival kit all on its own, although it does cover a lot of bases, but it's more of a survival toolkit, and I'll show you guys what's in there. I'll catch you on the next video.